Utah Jazz end their 3-game losing streak with a inside job, which isn't that uncommon in the nation's capital. Oh, but a bump. We're talking about it coming up on POSTCAST.
You are Locked On Jazz, your daily podcast on the Utah Jazz. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Utah Jazz dominate the paint tonight on their way to a 123-108 win over the Washington Wizards. The Wizards jumped early under new interim coach Brian Keefe to a 13-4 start, but then the Jazz answered on a 30-8 run to gain control of the game and never relented. They trailed by 7 at the end of 36-29, but took a 8-point lead at the half, stretched it out to 20 by the end of 3, and cruised to a never-in-doubt 123-108 win. John Collins leading the way with 22 points, 16 rebounds. David Locke along with Ron Boone with you here on POSTCAST tonight. And Ron, the Wizards came in. They don't do a lot well. They do about one thing well, which is they get out in transition. They're the second best team in the league in transition, 7th most common. They do some things really, really badly. Like there's 30 teams in the NBA, and they rank 30th in offensive rebounding, and they rank 30th in defensive rebounding. And they don't have much. They actually deny threes, but don't deny the rim. And the Jazz took full-fledged advantage of it if you looked at this one.
They ended up with 5 offensive rebounds. The Jazz ended up with their normal 13 to 16 offensive rebounds that they average a game. And so a lot of the Collins points anyway came off some offensive rebounds. But this team
7 offensive rebounds for John Collins.
John Collins, yes. And but this team is in. You just don't know what to say. I mean, there's the strength of this team, as you said, it's in transition. But you put them in a half court. I mean, what do you see? I mean, you don't see.
They're horrendous.
Right.
Like
so
it's 20. They're 7-37. They just fired their coach today because they're not competitive enough. I mean, here's the deal. They have one player on their rosters in the top 100 players in the NBA.
And that's
Kyle Kuzma. And he doesn't look very good. No. He's not I'm a Kyle Kuzma fan, but the player we watched tonight's not like. That's not somebody. Now, I don't know what he's supposed to do on this roster. So maybe it's not his fault, but the player we watched tonight's not like the player who could be a helpful player to an NBA team to win in like playoff series. He could be that if he can go do what Aaron Gordon does in Denver, but he's not playing that style right now. Like, is he ready to go be the 4th best player on a team? That's what he would 4th or 5th. That's probably what he needs to be on a really good team. From a Jazz standpoint, this had to feel good. They got run by, and then they got by New Orleans, and they got run by Washington early. Washington was averaging 2.3 points in transition in the first quarter, and then finally the Jazz tightened it up and stopped allowing the transition to them.
Yeah, and both teams ended up having a very good first quarter, but the Jazz exploded there late in the first quarter to win that quarter 36 to 29. But I was looking at the field goal percentage of that and how they scored. Washington very early getting to the basket in transition. The Jazz was winning the half-court battle. And the half-court battle ended up winning for the rest of the ball game. And that was the Jazz.
One of the guys who probably will not get a star, but I want to highlight it. If you watch the stat line, you're not going to think he was great tonight in any way, shape, or form because he was 1 of 6 and Keontae's still struggling with shots. But he did have 7 assists. I thought Keontae just looked – he played, and clearly Will Hardy did too because he gave him 31 minutes of action tonight. I thought he just looked way more aggressive, and maybe it was a less good opponent, so they're not, hey, Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks are getting into you and can knock you off your game, and we've played some teams that are pretty aggressive. But I thought Keontae looked far better tonight than he had in the last 3, and he's working through the rookie wall. But tonight there was an aggressiveness and a pop to the way he was playing.
Sometimes you need to play a golf course that
sometimes you need Glendale instead of Glen Wild, baby.
Get you back on your game, and this is probably one of those games for him where you can attack and where you can run the basketball team and make some good plays, and maybe that'll carry over to the next basketball game. Now, as you mentioned, he didn't shoot the basketball very well, but he was very much under control. Ended up with 7 assists,
34 assists for the Jazz on 50 field goals. We're kind of loving the 30 assist number. It is somewhat of a magic number. It's a high number. There is so much scoring in the league. It's a little less impressive than it once was. But frankly, I think the Jazz in the last 6-7 games are averaging over 30 assists and are 1 or 2 in the league. So they're high. This matched the ball movement tonight. 8 assists for Jordan Clarkson, who leads the team in assists. 7 assists for Keontae, but maybe most impressively, 5 assists for Lauri Markkanen.
Yeah, which looks awfully, awfully good. Now, I know I've said this many, many times. Back in the day,
yes,
if you had 25 assists in a ball game, you better win it.
You were also playing about 20 less possessions. Well, ABA you might not have been, but
so now it's up to 28 to 30 assists a ball game. Something like that.
What are you seeing in Lauri's passing? Because he has got now, I think this is what I said, is 6 games this year with 5 assists or more. He didn't have that in the last 2 seasons combined. Prior to that, he only had 5 games with 5 or more assists. I think there's 6 this year. What are you seeing from Lauri in his ability to get off the ball to create for his teammates?
You got to be a willing passer in order to get assists. And if you're thinking more offense, then you're not going to get those assists. Now he doesn't think offense all the time now because he's getting loose but the offense dictates a lot of times opportunities to get those assists. If you run good routes, if you slip screens and all of those kind of things, then you can get those assists. So maybe it's the offense that's dictating and putting them in a position where he can get those assists.
Jazz held the Wizards to 7 of 30 from 3, just 23%. So that was a huge swing in this game. The Jazz were 13 of 31, which is not a big number for them. They like to get up probably 43s in a night, but they were so good in the paint that they did not take as many threes. They did not go to the line a bunch. Either did the Jazz, but they had a massive edge both on the boards and in the 3-point range to be able to pull this one off. Kelly Olynyk had a big night, 19 points, 8 of 11. Walker Kessler struggled, so Kelly played some more minutes tonight, had 21 minutes. Walker got in foul trouble, lost his, as I said on the broadcast, looked like he lost his proprioception for the evening. Had 5 fouls in 15 minutes. Colin only played 16 minutes tonight, Ron. I didn't realize that until I'm just looking at the box score right now, but that's because Jordan and Keontae really had it going, and Will rode him. Yeah,
and Will has said that many, many times. Just because you start the ball game doesn't mean you're going to finish. And we saw it tonight. That Dunn only played 16 minutes, same amount of minutes as Colin Sexton, but
all right,
they didn't finish.
So this is a feel-good game. This is your Glendale. What does it do to play Glendale? Like, what does this do for this group to have a game against a team that's 7 and 37 now, and is it getting outscored by 10 points a game and is, really doesn't put up any resistance at all, so you get to do what you want to do?
I don't think it's necessarily the offense. The defense is what killed them against New Orleans. And shoring up the defense, makes you feel good. Offense is going to be there. I don't think there's a team in the league, the way the Jazz are playing, the style of player that they're using can stop the Jazz from scoring. But the defense sometimes gets you in trouble.
They're doing a free throw shooting contest here after the game, and they're allowing people to walk up to the rim and shoot layups. Instead, it seems really appropriate. Okay, sorry. Cheap shot. But kind of funny. I made you laugh. I mean, really, I made you laugh.
That's a cheap shot.
But I made you laugh.
Yeah.
Like, where's the okay? Like, the cheap shot, like, I made you laugh. It's entertainment. All right, let's start up here tonight.
I think it's totally easy tonight.
Oh, really? You think it's totally easy?
Totally
I think there's
easy.
3 legit candidates tonight.
I think John Collins.
Oh, no question. He could actually eat both stars because he ate all the glass tonight, 22 points. Plus, John Collins, who's been the worst plus-minus player for the Jazz this year, was plus 22.
Plus 22.
So that's nice. He had 7 rebounds. He was 7 offensive, 9 defensive rebounds, 22 points, 11 of 15 shooting.
Kelly Olynyk.
How come?
You don't like my choice?
No, I don't. I mean, he was 8 of 11. He had 19 points. He was plus 13. He had 2 assists. I love Kelly Olynyk. He's like my favorite dude on the team. I'm wondering why it's a no-brainer.
So
you're just bored of the guy who gets 29 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals. Like, you're just bored of that? The guy who busted a career-high 6 threes tonight? You're just bored of that?
I look at sometimes when guys turn things around in a quarter or something like that, the second quarter there for Kelly Olynyk.
I'm sorry. How many did Lauri have in the first quarter tonight?
He had 13.
Oh, so that's not enough for you?
The Jazz were only up 6 points.
You're right. They were down by 9 to start the quarter.
No.
They were down 13-4, and then Lauri went nuts and scored. Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, no, I mean, right. I got it. That's fine.
So Kelly Olynyk scores 19 points in the last 3 quarters.
Mm-hmm.
And what did
Lauri scored 29?
No,
in the
but
night.
he didn't. What the last 3 quarters? I said he didn't even score in the second
I'm
quarter.
sorry. He scored 16 instead of 19.
Kelly Olynyk had 19.
He scored 16 points in the last 2 quarters.
I win. So who are your stars? Who did you pick?
The best player on the floor tonight was John Collins, and the second best player on the floor tonight was Lauri Markkanen.
Yeah, Kelly Olynyk.
We win 3 more games on this trip. We have to survive. I even brought him cupcakes today. I went to the cupcake store and bought him cupcakes.
What is this? And maybe someone can help me. Maybe
why is DC the cupcake capital of America?
Why is that?
Why does Georgetown have 3 massive cupcake stores within 5 blocks of each other? Because there's college students nearby, I guess.
Yeah.
See ya. Have a great night. We love you. Bye. We now send you over to the first ever 24/7 national sports channel on YouTube. It's called Locked On Sports Today. Check it out. Love it. Enjoy it. Have a great night. See you.